Good morning from Southern California. This is Dr. Anthony Chang coming to you with another AI Med Talk. And this morning we have my special friend and colleague and fellow cardiologist Ameet from London, who has been very busy on the front lines with COVID-19. And Ameet is a clinical cardiologist, again, with a special interest in data science. Tell us what's been your couple of insights after 2 or 3 months of fighting against COVID-19.
Thanks so much, Anthony. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I'm sorry it's not under better circumstances, but hey, adversity is the best teacher, right?
Yes.
So one of the sad things about COVID-19 is just how rapidly it took us by surprise. But we were very blessed where we are. So I'm at a district general hospital, but I have one of the best electronic data systems in the country. And so we were blessed to be able to see data live and to be able to track it every single day and recognize where we're going. And it was a joy to have the agility to let clinical decision making lead some of the changes rapidly that we made. So example, we turned our CCU into a CPAP ward because we were taking the pressure off ITU, and we were able to take 18 beds and turn them into CPAP units. And that made all the difference because we're on the lower floor where oxygen flow is really perfectly laid out. We're used to high levels of monitoring. We're used to high levels of adaptation. So that agility to make that decision, to see those patients go through coronary care unit in a different way, to learn different technologies about ventilation, etc., but to make sure those people didn't die, that was amazing to see. And then the third aspect is because we're an electronic hospital, no paper at all. There's no issues about being able to do remote, any remote working, whether I'm on the ward and need an MDT with a diabetologist or a renal specialist or the ITU. We were able to do remote ward rounds from sitting in a room with X-ray colleagues, with ITU colleagues, with physiotherapists, end of life care, and still see the entire hospital's wards. And that ability to quickly, rapidly get many of us together to make joint decisions on difficult situations, that was unheard of. In one way, we rose to a particular way of challenge as clinicians at our best with nobody to interfere. Management just went out the way and said, what do you need? And that's the first time in 10 years that you could again practice like that, because up till now it's all red tape, right?
We were saying earlier that we talk about bending the curve to minimize the mortality and morbidity. But when we practice clinical medicine, it's important to bend the curve. Flatten the curve earlier, but now we need to bend the curve in terms of innovation, in terms of speeding therapies through, right? So wonderful to hear.
Really exciting. We were able to innovate to getting from concept to first drug in patients in 11 to 12 days. So we have a trial of nebulized TPA, and we conceptualized that. We put the protocol together within 2-3 days. We got permissions within 3 days. We got the setup, and we started. We had 5 patients in within 2.5 weeks of concept. That's unheard of as an innovation. Those are the sorts. But on the other hand, it went ballistic in terms of research. We were getting like 50 ideas per week coming to the research committee to filter out down to about 6 ideas that we would take forward. And then the government was actually doing its decision making on the technologies that it wanted to push to us. We had adaptive trial designs where you could actually swing a new arm into the trial if you needed to without too much red tape. It was incredible. So some of those innovation techniques in the face of those deaths that we were getting and young people dying of COVID-19, we recognized very rapidly from the data that D-dimer was prognostic of death, but maybe not always prognostic of a PE. And in our CT imaging scans, we saw about 1/3 of those people moving through to the scanner having clots, even though the other 2/3 had high D-dimers. So there's all sorts of data interpretations that came to light, and it really tested us, Anthony. I'm sure that you felt the same way, right?
Yeah, well, it's now that COVID-19 is affecting children more and more, I'm sure we will learn from our adult cardiologists, and also keep that in mind when we treat pediatric patients with heart disease. So I think as you said, it's really brought out the best in clinical medicine in terms of agility, in terms of real-time application of ideas, and also has bent the curve in innovation. So thank you for your insight, and thank you for your frontline work from patients that you've taken care of. And looking forward to having you on the faculty and the discussion on the upcoming May 19th webinar on AI and clinical cardiology. So Ameet, thank you very much.
My pleasure, Anthony. Thank you so much.